8 men rode into canyon. I dug 7 graves. Horse says you are a spirit walker. A man who has been to the other side and returned. A man who cannot be killed in battle. Something very wrong with that horse.
If we ride together, we ride for justice.
Justice is what I seek, Kimosabe.
So I come into this movie thinking, wow, this just may be the new franchise besides Pirates of the Caribbean for Disney. After seeing this movie on the 4th of July, I come to the realization that that might not be accurate at all. Yeah. This movie is more along the lines of Tonto's perspective, although there is there's quite a bit of the Lone Rangers as well. Although you don't really feel like you're connected to the Lone Ranger. You more along the lines connected to Tonto. You're connected to Tonto instead of Lone Ranger. First of all, we see where Tonto comes from. We see why Tonto is where he's at now in this that present time. And the Lone Ranger, let me give you a little bit of background on Tonto. Tonto is the last of his village. He's the last of his people, and he's a little hardened and a little demented by that. So, yeah. Although he's a great warrior. But he is a little bit excommunicated from other tribes, and so, yeah. And then we see the Lone Ranger. Army Hammer's Lone Ranger is kind of towards the beginning, well, towards 3/4 of the movie, he is the prissy law school boy who's wet behind the ears. He just got out of law school, I am assuming, and so he's wet behind the ears. So he's all about upholding the law to the fullest extent and believes every man deserves a free trial. In this movie, that is just not what I wanted in this character. Because they played up the trailer to me, in my own opinion, that the Lone Ranger was going to be a hardened guy because of his brother's death. He really didn't seem affected. There was no anger towards the guy. There were no tears. You didn't feel like he cared that his brother died. I mean, he may have mentioned, "I want to take my brother's killer in for a trial," but you feel along the line, you feel that he's just doing it because it's his job. And he probably puts on the mask so he scares people and finds the guy. So he works outside the law to uphold the law, but not the way you think. He's just doing it to do his job, and then he'll figure he'll take the mask off once he's found the guy. And Tonto is he just she deals with having to have the Lone Ranger as his partner, having to have Army Hammer's character as his partner. Because, I mean, this guy, he's prissy. He's very prissy, and he doesn't really know how to fight. And he's always trying to take the opposite side of Tonto. If Tonto wants to beat someone up or kill someone, Armie Hammer's like, no, every man deserves a free trial no matter what they've done. That kind of pissed Tonto off, and I'll be honest, it kind of pissed me off as well. But I mean, I guess that's the way the character was written, and that's what Armie Hammer was given. So I won't blame him for what he was given. That's not entirely his fault, although he could have made the character a little more outstanding. Because who do you really care more about in this movie? Tonto. Why? Because Tonto, you feel for Tonto. You feel what he's feeling, where he comes from, and, the Lone Ranger is kind of a dick. There was one point in the movie where Tonto and him were dying, where well they could have been killed when they were in the sand, and if Tonto didn't know the direction to the place the Lone Ranger needed to go, Tonto may have died. That's the kind of dick that this John Reed, the Lone Ranger, that's the kind of dick he was. And I don't want to get you wrong, this movie is not completely bad at all. The beginning sequence and the ending sequence with the train were fantastic. They're maybe some of the best train sequences I've ever seen. But yeah, hopefully if this becomes a franchise, because Armie Hammer and Ruth Wilson are signed on, but Johnny Depp is not. They're signed on for sequels. So if this becomes a franchise, hopefully they hire new writers to make the story a little more grittier, make the Lone Ranger a little less goofy, and give Armie Hammer some more material, because I think this guy Armie Hammer, I think he will upstage Johnny Depp in the long run eventually. He's not the teen heartthrob that Johnny was, but hopefully he'll outgrow him, and if he will draw the audience. Solely he'll draw the audience. That's what I want to see for this guy. But I don't know. I I don't know. But I give it. I guess I give it about a 6.4 out of 10. Not bad, but it's not that great either. Yeah, so I'd recommend you renting it at Redbox, or going online and waiting till it comes on Netflix, or waiting till it gets on Stars or HBO. But spending your money, it's not entirely worth it unless you really need to see it for yourself. Other than that, um, that was it. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with my review? Do you think I may have underplayed this movie? Or do you think I was right on the money? Or do you think I was nowhere near? I was hit and miss. Have you seen the movie yet? Do you like the movie? Just let me know in the comment section down below. I want to hear what you guys think. I'll comment back, and back and forth conversation. So subscribe, and as always, stay epic, my friends.